A major cold front will be plowing down from Canada across much of the country later this week and into early next week, setting the stage for a potential winter storm. Actually, a couple of threats as we go into next week. So we'll get right into it. First, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, help the channel to grow. I thank you for that. So here we go. We'll go right into it here. So this is the GFS. So back this up a little bit. So we have a cold front diving down into Canada. Now ahead of that, there's going to be potential severe threat. I think the severe threat might be limited, but wouldn't be surprised to see some isolated severe storms, say late Friday into Saturday, and this would be like East Texas across the northern Gulf Coast, possibly a little further east than that, and that's going to be along our Arctic, or I should say ahead of that Arctic front. And then along that Arctic front, as we go into next week, that's what we really need to keep an eye on things. This is very, very cold air mass, potentially setting the stage for a significant winter storm threat. All right, so this is now Wednesday, and take a look at that. This is, stop it right there. So this is now 7 p.m. Tuesday. So the blue is the snow, and then you have your sleet and the purple, and that kind of that brighter pink there, whatever you call that, is freezing rain. And I think this is a legitimate threat. Now, the one thing we have on our side here is time. Obviously, this is, I am concerned about this, but, I don't want to be too concerned because it is still, a week or so out. So we know a lot of things can change quickly from run to run. But as you'll see here in a second, I do think this is a legit threat. So this is now 7 p.m. Tuesday. And then moving a little further east-northeast as we go overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday. Major ice storm here in the GFS. Look at all that purple going from southern Georgia through much of South Carolina, coastal or southeastern North Carolina. Further north than that, you have more colder air aloft, so you have a snowstorm here on the GFS. And then that slides not quite, maybe up towards D.C., doesn't get much further than D.C., and kind of slides off the coast there. But very, very significant. Really, the GFS is showing a pretty big storm for Texas, and then further east from there off the southeast coast. And that is a crippling ice storm on the GFS here. Now, so let's pop over to the European, see what the European's showing. All right, so let's put this forward. So first, ahead of that storm, we do have a weaker system, and this you can see on the European here, so showing some light snow from D.C., Philly, New York, up through Boston. I think that's looking like a 1 to 3 inch event. We'll have to see how that trends over the next couple days. See if that trends a little bit stronger. But the main threat, I think, next week is going to be that system that's going to be trailing it. So this is again now Tuesday. You see our snow in East Texas as we go on the overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. That spreads eastward across the deep south there, and you can see all that freezing rain. Major ice storm here on the European as well. So now we have the GFS and the European showing major winter storm, crippling ice storm for parts of the deep south. And then unlike the GFS, the European does ride this up the coast, and that's a pretty sizable snowstorm for DC, Philly, New York, Boston. You kind of get light snow, and then it slides off. So again, this is far out, so details to be determined. But right now, the one thing that I really see here that's causing me concern is, if I can get this right, is the high pressure. So this is very cold air mass. Look at that 1040 high right there. And what that's going to do is just funnel in the cold air. Look at how cold this air mass is. So this is Tuesday, Wednesday, very cold temperatures. So that high pressure system, what that's going to do is just funnel in that low level cold air. So I think if this is correct with the high pressure strength and the placement of it, then that ice threat is for real. Let's pop over, show you one other thing here. This is now the GFS ensembles. GFS ensembles, this is now Wednesday, 7 a.m. A 1037 high on a GFS ensemble mean is very impressive. So this is telling me that this high pressure system is legit. So there's going to be a cold air mass for sure. Strong high looks likely at this point. That strong high is just going to funnel that cold air in. So if we get a system like the models are suggesting along the northern Gulf Coast sliding to the east-northeast, if they're right about the high pressure strength and placement, there will be enough cold air to produce a sizable winter storm. And if you're further south, so again, deep south there up through much of South Carolina, southeastern North Carolina, that's going to mean ice for you at this point. We'll have to see how that trends. Again, this could, maybe the high pressure is going to be further south and squash this thing and send it off the coast, or maybe it's going to be a little bit further north, allow this thing to kind of crawl up the coast a little bit more, introducing some more warm air in parts of the deep south. But the way the models are looking right now, let's pop over to the European ensemble. So the European ensembles is basically the European run at a lower resolution, about 50 times. So let's go ahead and take a look at this storm system. Look at that, 1041 high as a mean on the European ensembles is very, very impressive. You see all the the different models where they're actually centering that high pressure. That is a perfect location for a major winter storm in the deep south and the southeast. So definitely concerned about that. We'll see how this trends over the next couple days, but definitely want to keep an eye on it. Don't run out to the grocery stores yet, but putting this video out there to say, look, the models are showing something significant, and the ensembles are certainly backing it up at this point. Hopefully this trends in a different direction as we go into the next couple of days, but wanted to get this out there at this point just so you can kind of monitor it, pay attention, be aware of that. That's it for today. We'll have another video update tomorrow. Hopefully things will look a little better, but certainly concerned right now about a major winter storm, possibly crippling ice storm. Again, don't run out to the grocery stores just yet. This isn't a forecast showing what the models are showing, and right now I think this has legs. This looks like a legit threat at this point. Let's hope for more favorable trends in the coming days here. But thanks for watching. See you next time.